Joining me now is the Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois. He has endorsed Kamala Harris for president. Also, of course, Governor, you have been mentioned as a possible top VP pick. So I really appreciate your time in joining me. And I mentioned that enthusiasm, that roar that we heard, Governor, for Vice President Harris at that event today. We haven't heard it so far on the Democratic side this election until now when the vice president was in that room. Trump's top campaign pollster predicted today that Harris will get a bump in the polls, but he called it a, quote, honeymoon. Do you think that the bump, if there is one, it appears there will be one, but let's see, we don't have the polls yet. Do you worry that it could be a honeymoon?
The excitement is palpable. I've talked to hundreds of people over the last couple of days. People are ready to go. I mean, they really wanted to have this opportunity to be excited about the ticket. This is the big opportunity. And remember, young people, people of color, who people, had concern about whether they would turn out. People are showing up. They're excited. You heard that crowd in not very far from here in Wisconsin chanting for her, and that's what's happening. It's not a temporary thing. There's an enthusiasm in the Democratic Party because, remember, our issues are the issues of the American people, fighting for American families, fighting for our working families across the United States, making sure that we're standing up for the freedoms that people have come to expect, like a woman's right to choose. Kamala Harris is going to prosecute the case against Donald Trump better than anybody I know.
So, Governor, when it comes to her record, and obviously we've already seen this, primary line of attack from Trump and the Republicans right now is the border. And I want to ask you about this because you support her. But of course, back in October, you called the border situation untenable. Undocumented immigrants are being sent to your state. It took 8 months more, 8 months after you called the situation untenable, for President Biden to issue his executive order. Obviously, the vice president had been charged with being a point person on the border issue for the Biden administration. How is this not going to be a major liability for her?
Well, you've got to remember that Joe Biden, who is known for bringing bipartisanship to Washington, actually put forward a border security bill. And what happened? It was Donald Trump that blew it up. Even though Republicans and Democrats wanted it to happen, Donald Trump told Republicans, beg off, don't vote for it. And he destroyed the opportunity to fix the problem, as, by the way, he did when he was president. He did nothing. We need comprehensive immigration reform. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden both have been in favor of that. I'm in favor of that. It's what Democrats stand for. Republicans don't.
I do want to follow with you on that, as I did with the Attorney General in New York yesterday. Obviously, the Republicans were responsible for that bill failing. That's true, but yet it still took months for President Biden to issue that executive order. Do you hope that Vice President Harris would have done something differently? I mean, it's one thing to say, well, we didn't get a bill. It's another to just continue to allow an untenable situation to continue, which is what this administration did.
Look, the bill would have been the immediate solution, there's no doubt. But it takes a lot. It isn't just about issuing executive orders. You've got to go negotiate with the leaders of Mexico. They were in the middle of an election. You've got to negotiate with the leaders of South American, Central American countries. We've got to make sure that we're managing this well. Remember, under Donald Trump, do you remember the people that were lining up to come to the border, that were trying to get into the United States? He did nothing for U.S. relations with Central and South America, and that really was the beginning of the cause of the problem at the border. So I'm very excited about the idea that Kamala Harris is going to lead us going forward. We have so much to accomplish in this country. Republicans have been standing in the way. Donald Trump wants to blow up all the progress that's been made. Think about how we've rescued the economy as Democrats across the country. Donald Trump wants to change that and go back to a world where, frankly, he's sending jobs overseas. That's what Donald Trump stands for.
So, Governor, let me ask you, though, because you heard the president today, the former president, say that Kamala Harris is a liberal. It makes Joe Biden look less so, right? That she's the radical liberal. And that is an attack we're also hearing from the Republican side. Let me just play a few people.
She is even farther left than Joe Biden. I didn't think they could pick anybody any worse, but they did.
Joe Biden was the kid that grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, the Irish Catholic kid. Kamala Harris is from San Francisco. She's a San Francisco liberal, a San Francisco radical.
When Harris was in the Senate, Governor, in 2019, GovTrack, which tracks bills in Congress, nonpartisan group ranked her as the most liberal compared to all senators. The most liberal
did you
compared to
hear
all
them-
senators. Is that a good thing?
Did you hear them talk about any issues in those quotes that you just played? None. They, frankly, are just throwing invectives, throwing names. You know, the vice presidential candidate for the Republicans is insulting women who own cats, has a weird view of America, honestly. And they're just, they love to throw names. That's what Donald Trump did. Look at the quote that he put out there, you know, frankly, just saying, oh, she's too liberal, she's too liberal. How about let's talk about a woman's right to choose? Is that too liberal to stand up for a woman's reproductive freedom and her health care? No. And also book bans. Republicans across the United States have tried to take books out of libraries. They want to end people's ability to access whatever they want to read. And it's Democrats who are standing up for freedom. And I believe that Kamala Harris is somebody who's going to prosecute the case against Donald Trump, who is a convicted felon already, but there are a whole bunch of cases yet to come.
I know you love your job, and you've made that loud and clear, Governor, but you are a possible VP pick, and that is very clear. So let me just put the question to you this way. If you were asked to be on the ticket with Harris, would you say yes?
Look, I'm going to work my heart out for this ticket. I really believe in the values that Democrats are putting forward. You know, obviously, you'd have to consider it if you're asked, but I have said, and I really believe that, you know, the people of Illinois elected me. There's an awful lot that I can get done here in the state of Illinois, and over the next 100 days, make sure that we're making the case for Kamala Harris and winning in November. It's vital because Donald Trump will be dangerous for America.
All right, Governor Pritzker, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much, sir.